a team like the Rays, where it's not carried by the one guy, it's even more important that everybody is able to contribute. Everybody contributed. I mean, Walls, Morel, and Aranda, Yandy Mangum,
Caminero. What's funny, this was the B lineup because Brandon Lau wasn't starting the game and Josh Lowe wasn't starting the game. But
you are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Captain Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
We're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
So grab your favorite Rays gear and settle in as we discuss a lot on today's program. A remarkable Rays win, maybe the win of the year when you consider the circumstances, and rejoice, or get ready to rejoice, I guess. The Rays are evidently for sale. So we will discuss all that and more on today's episode.
Yes, we will. But before we get to all that fun stuff, we got to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Game Time, people. Go to Game Time, download the app today, use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $20 off your first purchase.
Just a quick housekeeping note here. Ulises and I will not be recording on Friday. So that's a good opportunity, if you haven't already, to listen to our interview with Rays high A prospect Garrett Edwards that dropped on Tuesday, I believe. So there's that. The postcast will keep coming from Jonathan Shields, so you can also check into those. But Ulises is scouting for a new location for the Tampa Bay Rays Stadium, which is why we will be unavailable on Friday. So I will not say any more than that, but he is moving and shaking, and he's plugged in. I'll just summarize it like that. Before we get into the Rays potential sale, which dropped like a bomb yesterday afternoon, we do need to hit on the Rays and their offense, which was shooting out bombs, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Amazing in the fact that the Rays were down 8 runs by the second inning, and they still come back to win. That was a game where you could legitimately say, all right, I'm going to turn it off, watch Netflix, go outside, touch grass, go to the gym, do a million other things, because there is no way in hell that the Rays are coming back from this one. But au contraire, they did come back, which is even remarkable in the sense that in the bottom of the second inning, the Rays had bases loaded and they did nothing with it. But no matter, they still plucked and clawed away to pull out the victory, ultimately winning 12-8. I'm going to go on record. This will be the most remarkable win of the season. Heck, it's probably been the most remarkable win of the decade when you consider that the last time the Rays came back to win after trailing by 8 runs was August 18th, 2012 against the Los Angeles Angels. So we've said it time and again, oftentimes it is the Rays pitching that is bailing out the Rays offense. This time it was the Rays offense bailing out the Rays pitching, and more importantly, the Rays starting pitching of Taj Bradley, who did not have such a hot start.
Yeah, no, that game was the definition of chip away. Just, you don't have to score 8 right away. You are down 8. It's bad, but it's early. You've got enough ball game to make up for it. And that's exactly what they did. 3 here, 2 here, 1 here, 2 here. And the boys responded. And I think we were talking about it earlier in the week. Like, there is a different feel with this team since they got on a good run, and the winning will do that to you. Everybody seems a little bit happier, and the confidence is back, and that is maybe something that we didn't have last year. the confidence factor never truly materialized as a group. Maybe for individuals here and there, but never as a unit. And a team like the Rays, every team needs to have confidence as a unit. But a team like the Rays, where not only one, it's not carried by the one guy. It's even more important that everybody is able to contribute. And if you've seen what you've seen from the game last night, everybody contributed. I mean, you saw Josh Lowe, you saw Taylor Walls, you saw Christopher Morel, you saw Jonathan Aranda, Yandy Diaz, Mangum, everybody.
Junior Caminero going 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs, and he had the go-ahead single, I believe it was. And what's funny, this was the B lineup because Brandon Lau wasn't starting the game and Josh Lowe wasn't starting the game. But when they got their pinch hit opportunities, they capitalized, and most importantly, Brandon Lau being able to tie it up with a 2-run home run over the short porch on a
By the way,
fastball up and in at 96 miles per hour. That is now his 15th dinger of the year. So maybe we should start maneuvering some all-star votes his way. Just saying.
Maybe so, but I do want to even include a friend of the pod, Curtis Mead, got into the action too, 2 for 2 with a walk, and I know people were really upset about his underperformance at the beginning of the season. Very quietly, Curtis is hitting 234 and a 677. They are not fantastic numbers by any means.
No,
but considering where he started from,
yes,
this is a very nice changeup. And I know Meisner has been in a very long drought offensively. Will meet those 2 numbers, 234 to Meisner, 212, and 677 for Mead, and Meisner at 623. So
that's tough, and not to make it a whole thing here because we do have other items to discuss. But if Cam Meisner continues to struggle offensively, there could be a switcheroo for Chandler Simpson, perhaps, even though we do value Meisner's defense. I mean, we'll just have to see and determine how far this slump goes. But credit to the Rays for the amount of hits with runners in scoring position, the amount of 2-out RBI opportunities. In fact, they were 9 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Yeah, that usually accounts and amounts to a good day. And I know it maybe is undershadowed by the rest of what the team did, but I just also want to credit Taylor Walls for getting an RBI triple. It was his lone hit of the day. He also had a walk, but the last couple games, even though it hasn't totally matriculated into hits or at bat or batting average elevation, he is hitting the ball harder for what it's worth. I mean, he is getting it to the warning track or off the wall, near home runs, if you will. I mean, I know we like to see more of the line drive variety, but I think instead of striking out, if you're driving the ball, that is a little confidence builder. And this ultimately, I think this is the type of win that can bring the group together. I think the group is already together, but really unified and say that nothing and no one can stop us.
Yes.
We don't care if you're the Dodgers. We don't care if you're the Mets. We don't care if you're the Yankees. We don't care if you're playing in the opposing team's ballpark. We can find a way to pull out a victory. And I mean, the run that they're on now, what is it? 20 wins and 27 games, whatever the number is. I mean, they're winning a lot of games. And then the fact that you're coming off sweeping the Mets and you're playing better at home, everything is starting to run like a well-oiled machine, and you can pick up the slack. Not all 3 facets have to be going at the same time. Like we saw in yesterday's win, the pitching was a disaster. The starting pitching was a disaster. It left you in an 8-0 hole, but the offense carried you forward. Now, more often than not, it's usually the pitching that keeps the Rays in the game, and they get enough hits to pull it out. But it was really cool to see and experience what happened, and I hope that nobody left the game early.
Oh my gosh! Imagine,
away. Yeah,
you pay the $30 to park. You get your concession stands. It's 8-0 in the second inning. You're like, oh man, this is not having it. No, it was one of those games. But I think you start to play well at home. That's important. You go out and you sweep the Mets, the hottest team in baseball. That's huge. That there are building steps, there are building blocks. Those two things had to happen for a win like yesterday to happen. You have to build that confidence. Hey, we're really good at home now. Hey, we can beat anybody. We just swept the Mets. It's 8-0. Let's go. Like it was fantastic to see, and hopefully this is more of things to come. Again, guys, we know baseball. 162. They're not going to be winning at the rate that they are at 2027 for the rest of the year. They're not. Don't think on it. But
you have to build a cushion and maybe position yourself to make some acquisitions at the trade deadline and not be
build the cushion.
sellers.
Build that's right now. That's the mission statement. Build that cushion. You're no longer a meddling 500 team. Like, get above that. And because you've been playing at this rate, and because the Yankees have been slipping, well, maybe we can start to think about the division being an actual thing this season.
Absolutely. All right, we have much more to discuss, but first we have to tell the audience something very important that is next on the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Whether you're gearing up for back-to-back meetings, shuttling the kids back and forth to activities, or tackling an endless to-do list, your morning sets the tone for all. That's why it should start with the perfect cup of coffee crafted just for you. Enter Trade Coffee. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan or a pour-over purist, they've got a roast you'll love. I actually took Trade's quiz. It only took a minute, and the first bag they sent me was spot on. No longer do I have to go anywhere else for my coffee. Trade Coffee is the place to get my brew. So right now, you should do the same. Trade is exclusively offering our customers 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. That's TRADE.com/lockedonmlb for 50% off your 1-month trial.
All right, Ulises, now for the topic that everybody's been waiting for. The Rays, it's been reported, they are in talks to sell to a group led by a Jacksonville-based developer. They announced on Wednesday that they are in, quote, exclusive discussions with a group led by Jacksonville developer Patrick Zalupski, I guess is how we pronounce his name, concerning a possible sale of the team. Per the Rays, the group also includes prominent Tampa Bay investors. Those were not named, though it is believed that Tampa businessman Dan Doyle Jr. is believed to be one. Per the Tampa Bay Times, here's a general outline of how the deal is expected to work. The team would remain in the Tampa Bay area as Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred prefers, in a new stadium to be built, with sites in Tampa to be considered in addition to what St. Petersburg could offer. The new group also would seek to retain the core of the baseball operations staff. Sportico first reported the discussion, saying the deal is for about $1.7 billion. So kudos to Sportico for breaking the news, not Jeff Passan or Ken Rosenthal or Mark Topkin or somebody of that ilk. Sportico, the well-known publication, has the in, I guess. Now, of course, if an agreement with the Zalupski group is reached, Major League Baseball would have to do a thorough vetting and other owners would have to approve the sale. Those approvals would be expected and potentially completed near or shortly after the season. So Stu Sternberg, as it was only a matter of time, would be forced or pressured to sell the team based on his negotiating strategy and some of his issues with, well, not just St. Petersburg, but he's had issues with Tampa as well in the counties. That, hey, somebody else has to step in to move this ball forward so we can get a new stadium built somewhere in the Tampa Bay area. And that looks like that is what is going to happen. But don't feel bad for Stu Sternberg, because he is going to make a significant margin on that initial $200 million investment that he made back in 2004 on the franchise. But yeah, so we might have a new owner within the next year or so.
And we had seen numbers around 1.2, 1.3. So the 1.7 kind of did, shock me a little bit. But I'm thinking, if I'm the Rays and you want to get a little bit more money, I'm guessing if I were Stu, I would be including the Rowdies on that deal. So that could be a situation where maybe it adds the value, of course, to that 1.7. But I don't think the Rowdies would touch 100 mil. So
No.
So we'll see. But very interesting. The Rays did come out and say that they were in talks, but they were no longer going to comment on the situation. So it's kind of like, we're not talking about it.
Yeah,
we'll give you a thumbs up. Look, Manfred did say he'd rather have Tampa Bay. That should have us feeling, I want to pick the right adjective here. Good. I'm not going to go farther than that, because we have heard this. I mean, I was in high school. We were both in high school when the first plans for the pier, the sale, remember?
We've gone from St. Petersburg to Tampa, back to St. Petersburg to Montreal. We've gone all over the map.
To Tampa again.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. So I think as Rays fans, we should not put all our eggs on this basket. Just measured optimism. I think measured positivism on this. But I think honestly, he's going to sell. We know he's going to sell.
He has to. There's really no choice at this point, because
what are you going to do?
Nobody in the Tampa Bay area, no elected official or government entity is going to negotiate with him. He is damaged goods because of what he has done, bait and switch, and moving the goalpost, and just
the comments.
Yeah, the comments as well. Which, if he was trying to even shop to Nashville or Orlando or something like that, I mean, if I was those government entities, I would look at the press clippings from what's happened here in this region and say, I can't get in bed with this guy.
No. And so we know he's going to sell. The issue is, I think for all Rays fans, is whoever is going to be buying that team, is that actually true with what Manfred said? Will they actually stay in Tampa Bay? I think that's the biggest thing. After that, I think most people that are watching Locked On Rays, which if you're doing that daily, thank you. Hit that like button. Thank you. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you. You understand this back and forth. And I don't see, obviously we all have a preference. If we're on the Tampa side, we want Tampa. If we're on St. Pete, we're only going to be St. Pete, but we don't care. Ultimately, all of us that are really into this, doesn't matter. Keep it in Tampa Bay. Once that is done, I think the biggest question, Kev, is would the new ownership do as well as Stu has done by doing two things? Letting the front office do their job.
Yes.
Stu has done that wonderfully. Not meddle.
Yeah.
Don't
only
become
thing the new ownership group should be meddling in, hey, keep Neander, keep Cash, keep Brian Auld, keep Silverman, keep the cast of characters. All we're asking from a new ownership group is to help foster the construction of a new stadium in Tampa or St. Pete, and throwing some money towards free agents.
I know you're like me and Kevin. Sometimes you decide going to Steinbrenner Field at the last minute, and there's no better place to buy last minute tickets without the stress than Game Time. Game Time allows you to buy tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to the first pitch, and they've got incredible last minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. So you can just worry about the Rays bullpen, the Rays offense, and everything in between, but not buying the tickets. So today, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Or existing players for contract extensions. You have a ready-made product. You just need to sprinkle some dollar signs on the product, and you might win a World Series or two. It's really that easy, honestly, in my opinion.
Because it's that easy. Because I mean, the Rays made it to a Game 5 in 08. They made it to a Game 6 in 2020. Like the Rays, as they operate, they can get there. They can get to the playoffs. Yeah. But if they just had that, let's just say a name that's going to hurt, but like a Freddie Freeman type,
a Marcell Ozuna.
Hey, somebody to just do that extra push that the guys can rally behind that the Rays don't have, and then that guy can kind of teach the ways to the other young players, because this is a young team. This is kind of giving me the 2018 vibes, like the college team that really doesn't know how good they are, but they're really good. 2018 was really fun, and they were a 90-win team, and unfortunately could not get into the playoffs. I think this team has those vibes right now. I don't think it's going to reach 90. Could, but I don't think so. But because of the weak division that they have this year, they actually might have a better shot at making the playoffs than that 2018 team did.
I will say what does have me concerned about where the Rays would be years from now is this Zalupski guy has strong ties and is based in Jacksonville. So that got the alarm bells ringing of he's a Jacksonville-based developer. He has ties and connections, I'm sure, to the government agencies up there. Is he trying to move the team closer to his home site, 4 hours up north in North Florida, or because it's not just him, he's part of a group. He I guess, would be the figurehead, but there are Tampa area folks that are involved in the ownership group. But, as much as I'd like to see the Rays in Tampa, I think one of the first things this group should do is just go back to Mayor Ken Welch and say, hey, we're not Stu Sternberg. We like your deal. Maybe firm up a couple of things here and there, but we're ready to sign on the dotted line and get building. And we have some ideas with our background on how to spruce up the redevelopment site even more. Also, another wrinkle into that is Jane Castor, the mayor of Tampa, has put in some words that, hey, might be ready to work again with the Tampa Bay Rays. She said in a statement provided by a spokesperson that, quote, the Tampa Bay Rays are part of this community and we want them to stay right here in Tampa Bay. We're optimistic that any new ownership will recognize the passion of our fans and the value of keeping the team rooted where they've been supported from the start. So there we go.
I really like that. And then you match it to what St. Petersburg Mayor Ken Welch said, which was nothing, because he declined comment, and a city spokesperson said the Rays have not discussed a potential sale with them. So, I mean, that last bit gives me that relationship is more than ruined.
Right. Well, I think the other thing, too, with that is if the new ownership group does keep Brian Alden, Matt Silverman in place, those guys were tethered to Stu Sternberg. So St. Petersburg, Pinellas County probably don't want to have anything to do with Brian Alden or Silverman. So that makes it challenging from that.
Because Brian and Matt had to be the shield for Stu, and they had to play that role of whatever Stu wanted. So that relationship is severed, definitely. But I did feel like it was again reserved optimism here, that when Jane said that, feels good. When Manfred says Tampa Bay, that feels good. We'll see, man.
We'll see. That's
Again,
all we can do.
not gonna get my hopes up, but it's better than hearing nothing. It's better than hearing absolutely nothing. But again, two things: keep the team in Tampa Bay, keep the front office as it's currently working. Don't meddle.
Yeah.
And third, if it'd be nice, just put a little bit more dough on the payroll. That'd be nice.
Just some seasoning on that roster. That's all that's needed. Really.
Come on,
That's it. All right, Ulises. So we put it out on the X machine. Are you excited about a potential sale of the Rays franchise? 85% of the voting populace say yes, 3% say no, and 12% are unsure at this time. Getting to some comments, our buddy Dustin Payne says, oddly, I'm being fought on Facebook about wanting to move on from Stu. Justin Pegg says, want confidence they are staying here and the culture stays. Tummy Stick says, as long as they don't move them from Tampa Bay. Argenis, another buddy of ours, says yes, and potentially relieved, thinking that a new ownership group could take over. I'm done with Stu Sternberg. And then Chris says, it could destroy how the Rays function and return to losing, or it could just expand what the Rays are doing. No way to know. I will say this. This individual, Zapolsky, seems like a pretty shrewd, smart businessman. And in order to get to that point, you have to make good decisions and let good people surround you do their job. So my imagination, my impression would be like the answers are right in front of him. He just needs to check the boxes. Like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. He should know when he's buying this team, he's got a good thing. There's just a little other pieces to tweak as far as, again, just adding some money to the roster and helping to build a new stadium. No big deal. Those are easy things to do. But yeah, like, it's not like, I don't think we're dealing with like a Vince Namoli here. That's my
It doesn't seem like it, but again, like, we don't really know anything.
Yeah, we won't know until we know.
But no, it's exciting that things are moving. We don't want to be at a stalemate anymore. We want resolution to this thing. Obviously, we want a positive resolution more than anything. But yeah, we want out of this limbo that Rays fans have been since 2008. Just take us out of our misery. Tell us what is going to happen. We thought we were out of it.
We got so close.
Just when we were this close, and then it got taken away. So yeah, that's what we want. We want closure on this thing, and hopefully the good type of closure where either the stadium is in St. Petersburg, stays in St. Pete, or makes a lot of more folks happy, and it goes to Tampa.
Yes, absolutely. All right. That'll wrap it up. If you have a mailbag question or anything that you want us to broach, lockedonrays@gmail.com. You can send us an email or a voice memo. In the meantime, we will be back on Monday, not Friday. So go back and listen to the Garrett Edwards interview like I recommended and instructed earlier in this episode. And let's hope that the Rays can take down the Orioles and take 3 of 4 against
That'd be nice.
the Oaks. Yes,
that would be nice.
It's so crazy. Just a second on that. We thought the Orioles would be like amazing for years and years and years, and they would have the upward trajectory, but they didn't do much in the offseason to address their needs. They fired their manager in the middle of the season or the early portion of the season, and now they're back to being a mess despite all the talent that they have between Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman and Jackson Holiday and all these types. And it's like, how'd you all screw that up?
Yeah.
So, all right. We will talk to you next week for your second listen. Check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on the YouTubes or wherever you listen to